put on a hat. I say. My hat is. Well, I should get a hat. What I'm trying to say. My hair is a mess. We wouldn't have a cut a month, and it's already a mess. So we're starting a bit early too. I didn't plan to, but sure, look, we're here now, I suppose, as well. I have an itchy back. But yeah, a lot to talk about actually tonight. Quite a bit to talk about. Quite a bit has happened over the last few days. So we talk about that. Everything's changed now on YouTube. YouTube must update it because everything seems to be more clear, etc., which is good. Because I just see the app, different things of the app changed, which seems to be better for the better. Maybe, hopefully, touch wood. Again, it's very bright, which is good. There's a win early one. I probably would just put on a hat and say just when I'm here, because my hair is reminding me. So we'll put on a hat. Hold on to the hat. Let me see. I think that's good there. Yeah. Let me see. Suppose where we the walkout now where we're going to start. We give it a few minutes. I know I said 6:30, and I said 6:05 in the chat, but see, I didn't really plan to be live this early, but see, things came up, and that's But I had things to do, and they didn't materialize. Let's put it that way. So that's why I'm a bit early, and I was back a bit early too. So from work, etc. So I'm a bit ahead of myself today, which is the first time ever I've ever actually said that. I'm a bit ahead of myself for the first time in donkey's years now at this stage. Because usually I was always a minute late, a few minutes early, etc. But I suppose it's a good complaint to be a few minutes in front of yourself. It's fucking the sun's coming out to split stones. But it's a good complaint too that the sun's out. Let's give or take. I think it went out. Let me just check the notifications and it's shown. Let me just check. Sorry. Yeah, okay, this way. Fair enough. Good, very good. So yeah, I suppose we will get started now in 2 minutes time. I know we're early, etc. But I suppose we'll be finished early. That's the good thing about it. What is this now? The good thing about two phones, you can look at one phone at I don't know if you're here, Davey, at the moment. I talked to you after the stream. How does that? I don't know if you're watching at the moment. I presume you probably are. I talked to you. It'd probably be 7:30 or so by the time we're finished. Give or take 7 o'clock, 7:30, something like that. I don't know if you're here at the moment, but I haven't watched the next video. Jesus, you make sure to have time to watch it because it is pretty fun. I kind of watched through it myself a few times, to be totally honest with you. I enjoy watching through it. Like it is good. The next part will probably be out at some stage. Like there's a whole lot more. Like there's a lot more. It's not just that. At this stage, we'll probably. Well, I don't know how many actually parts would there be. Like definitely there'll be part 3. Definitely part 4. Like there's a lot more to go through. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. But definitely, we would probably have part 3 up by, I don't know. We see that we're not watch it, but we see we have it up after the weekend or something like that. Ooh. Give me a moment. Are you going to stream now or? Sorry about that. Apologies. Apologies. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, how are we all doing? So I know there's 100 million things happening. I suppose we get started. Hopefully, this YouTube update doesn't fuck up. It shouldn't do. No, see, oh, this used to be red here, and all this used to be red, but it's all white now. I don't know. My children are more demanding when holidays. No time yet. Oh, do you mean your children want to go on holidays, basically? But my advice, if you're going to say Finland, um, you know, probably not likely you should go to Finland. That's what especially if there's a few of you. It'd be different if there's only one. It'd be better to go somewhere sunny too. Finland was sunny when I was there, but you know, if you have a good few thousand, let's put it that way, it's not cheap. Because as I said, I was invited to another town in Finland. Take for example, we're looking into that in the background, basically at the moment. It's not obviously going to happen for another while yet, but we are looking into it at the moment in the background, and it's quite insane. It's nearly actually going to be probably more expensive than the last one, to be totally honest. So long story short, I wouldn't plan to go to Finland, unless because there's a lot of money. Oh no, at home. No, right. So yeah, we'll probably get started now. What is the most cavan town in Finland that is a billion? What is the most cavan town in Finland that is the $1 billion question? What is the most cavan town in Finland? Oh, what do you mean is the most Finnish in cavan town? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't know. There's nobody Finnish in Cavan, I know. More like Cavan. Well, there's I don't know specifically how to really answer that question, but there is a place in Finland, not in Helsinki, but there's a county like Cavan, and it's supposed to be the most meanest county in Finland, most meanest area in Finland. Now it's a good bit away from Helsinki, so that's the only thing I can really think of. Because some of the Irish people too tell me in the pub about it, because they were like, "Who paid for you to go to Finland?" And they were telling me about this area in Finland that's known for being miserable. Basically, they won't pay a penny. They wouldn't put their hands in their pocket, basically. But hello there, everyone. Yeah, I don't know if that's what you were asking me. There's nothing really like it's a very different society, as I said in the video. There's nothing really like Cavan. It's all very advanced. It's years and years ahead of us. That's what donkeys years ahead of us. But I don't know if that answers the question. But no, there's nothing really like it, anyway in Finland, or even Ireland in general, because they're just far too ahead of us in this country. Yeah, they are literally in the future. Like they have their heads screwed on. Let's put that way. They know what they're doing, basically. Well, because imagine in Dublin, there's no such thing as a metro. Like, for years they went on about let's build an underground metro. They still haven't done that yet. In Finland, they have an underground metro, etc., etc. They haven't for years. And stuff like that. Like, it's insane compared to when you just look at Ireland. But see, the only reason they can do it because it's such high taxes, etc., etc. Even though people pay high taxes here, but who knows where that money goes to? Because it just seems to disappear and nowhere to be found. I don't know where my taxes go to the end of the week. Where does that go? I don't know. Because it's just insane. Yeah, but it is insane. Like, it is genuinely insane. But you see, we will be going back at some stage to Finland. So not this year, obviously, but probably sometime. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But let's put this way: you need to really take out a loan to go back, basically, because it is quite expensive, as I say. Like, you nearly could go to Spain for. I think somebody, one of my people that I know in Cavan here, like, he used to walk on the couch here. He went on holidays to Greece, some island like Crete, I think it was. And for the plane and everything, it was Ryanair, etc. So the plane and everything, he's holiday, and he's there for a week in Greece. It was something like, I think he said nearly 600 and something euro. Because that's all he paid. Now comparing that to Finland, at a different league. You know, it's insane. But anyway, we probably should get moving on. What I'm talking about. This seems to be a bit more laggy out today than they usually would be. What's that? I love Greece now. Yeah, well, there's a lot of wildfires, etc., etc. I wouldn't be that fond. It'd be too warm for me. I wouldn't be fond of it. Like I could jet off to Spain now if I want to, but I never really cared about going to Spain or Portugal or any of them countries. But yeah, look at this now. Um, uh, what should we say about this? I suppose. Um, like it's insane to see this. With total hands, but again, it just goes to show you that if you're a Fine Gael senator, you get off with literally murder. Basically, you can beat up people in the pub, and you only have to pay pocket change. In Motown, basically, you could literally go kill somebody in the street and you get off with it. Basically, let's put it that way. If you're in Fine Gael, and Simon Howard said nobody should be beating anybody up on the street, etc., etc. Simon Howard, are you anywhere to be found when this comes to this? Because there seems to be different things. Who is what? Who is which? Oh, you mean you're talking? Yeah, like it'd be far too busy too. Like it'd be just far too busy. But what I'm trying to say is, and as he was pointing out to me, for the week he went against 600, maybe he paid 700, something like that. Probably if he went out of that. But he went on the YNL, etc. So it wasn't that deal. But comparing that to literally what I spent going to Finland, it's quite insane. It is quite insane. Because to be totally honest, you nearly could go and live in Greece for probably 3 or 4 months on the amount of money I spent going to one country for a week. It's quite insane. But then you look at it too, everything's high taxes, etc., with they pay for the services, etc., etc. But anyway, long story short, Fine Gael at its finest. What is this now? So I just want to briefly talk about this too here. So Matty McGuire, in fairness to Matty McGuire, he asked him a tough question yesterday, the Taoiseach. Now, this is in relation to TUSLA, obviously the Child and Family Protection Agency. Now they're the biggest fucking crooks going. Well, to be totally honest, every part of the state's the biggest crooks going. But especially this, as Matty McGuire said, it's especially if it's anything to do with children, it should be taken up at the highest regard to find these children and find out what happened. As we say, 40 children in state care and TUSLA's care under the Child and Family Protection Agency are nowhere to be found. God listen, nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be nobody to find in a first world country. Can't even find 40 children that were in the care of TUSLA, the Family Child and Protection Agency, as it says here. Nowhere to be found. Gone. No, they could be sold to slavery for all we know, because you never know what the state could do. But long story short. He asked Simon Howes, and in fairness, there should be, as Matt McGuire said, there should be a big debate about it in the Dáil, because it is disgrace that they can't find these children. They don't know where they are in a state care. As that been Matt McGuire, the Taoiseach didn't respond to it. The Cam Cola says the Taoiseach did. What was about Tuesday? Basically, the Taoiseach didn't bother to his house to respond. He didn't care. So it just goes to show you, nobody mentioned it again. And OT conveniently never mentioned about this. OT just don't want to know about it, don't want to talk about it. So, it's basically the forgotten children, basically. So Simon Howes just doesn't be totally honest. And this is very sad, as I say, especially if they're in state care, etc. Shouldn't know where they are. They shouldn't be missing. Let's put it that way. But again, this stage, you never know what they've done with the children, to be totally honest. And that's the sad thing. And especially that he was asked the specific question. You think the Taoiseach would say, the Gardaí are looking into it, we're doing everything we can to find these children. But the Taoiseach simply didn't care. Shrug of the shoulders, and that was it. Yeah. But I'd never be interested in just going back to Greece and stuff like that. I'd never really be interested in going to Greece, so Portugal, etc., etc. Just never really fight. Like it'd be too warm for me, to be totally honest. To put it straight to you too, it wouldn't be a place I would want to go. If I was, I wouldn't be that fond of going to hot countries, really, really hot, like Spain and stuff. Portugal would be far too hot. Italy would be too hot too, and then Greece too, and all them countries there would be too hot. I know somebody who went to Croatia recently, and the Croatia. Serbia, interesting. It might be hard getting to Serbia now. It might be difficult enough. But I have no doubt maybe it'd be a bit warm. It'd be a bit more cooler than the other countries that we mentioned. But I know Croatia, sorry, is besides Serbia around that area. They went to Croatia. These people I knew, and they went for those three of them, and they went for €1,000 each. So that's 3,000 each. No, 3,000 for the whole lot of them, which isn't bad. That you include probably Hungary, yeah, but it would still be difficult enough. I say it'd be strict enough on the border. I say. But what I'm trying to say is Croatia, take for example, there was three of them, and they went for, you know, yeah. So it was somewhere on the coast, somewhere on the coast of Croatia, they went there, which isn't bad, for it's 1,000 for each for the hotel, for the flight, etc., etc., and then a few bob for the eating out or whatever they bought. It's quite insane because everybody was saying about how much I spent. Like nobody I know is willing to spend how much I spent to go to Finland for a week and then to even go back. Nobody's willing to spend that much money to go up to Scandinavia, basically. Like nobody goes there, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Because it's kind of frightening when you do think of it. When you sit down and think about it, it's kind of very frightening when you see the prices. But they enjoyed it. They enjoyed Croatia too. But there were like everybody else that I know going to Spain, going to Portugal, going to Greece, hot countries, in France even, and then all of a sudden I'm going to Finland, I was in Finland, etc., etc., and then when they hear the price, the mouths kind of drop. I'm not late. I actually plan to be live at 6:30, so I'm early today, Tony. Early. Once I'm actually early, like really early, half an hour nearly early. But yeah, because it's quite whatever. But yeah, just to let people know, the other parts of the Helsinki tour, there's a lot more of it. Just to say so, there's an awful lot more to come. So I know people maybe not that interested in it, but we uploaded anyway for the funsies. I think people really would like the military museum, etc., etc. That's a long way away now at this stage to be uploaded. But if people would like the military museum and the submarine, etc., etc., I think people will enjoy that one. The next one will be interesting too, just to say about the Sky Wheel, because we're up in the Sky Wheel, and that's going to be the footage of the next one. So I think you should enjoy that. Anyway, move on. So this Queen, where is it? Is saying Irish people have white privilege. Now, this is an American phrase. So I don't know what's wrong. Like, white privilege. Irish people have white privilege. And they're funding NGOs, etc., etc., that really say that Irish people have white privilege. And you're just like, excuse me? How did we have white privilege for years and years and years? We were literally genocided back in the 1800s, etc., etc. And you're saying we're too privileged, and people are struggling to live in Ireland, etc., etc. And you're saying we're privileged, white privileged. And again, I wouldn't mind the said there's maybe in England or some country that colonized places. But literally to come out with this in Ireland, I wouldn't mind if you went in England and started shouting about this. Maybe you could have a bit of argument behind it. But literally, you're in Ireland. This is not America. This is not the United Kingdom. We have no privilege. That's just a straight up fact. Nobody has any privilege in Ireland. And especially because this is a government minister that's funding, giving billions. And again, the reason why Ireland's poor is because of these fuckers, NGOs, that are just giving billions to do this. And this is what they're going around shouting about, white privilege, etc., etc. And we have this privilege, and this, that, and the other. They're too busy going around doing this, and we're giving them trillions. Like we're giving them trillions a year every year to go around doing this. It's disgrace. You think he'd be saying this is a load of bullshit? We should be defunding these NGOs. We should be kicking them out of the country if we get away with it. But again, and he says it's very relevant. Like, and these are government ministers, and they're more worried about this. This is the best part. The government are more worried about this than they are about people being homeless, etc., etc. So I don't know where the priorities are, but it's just the woke agenda 2.0. That's what I mean. Yeah, it's just insane. But no, it's quite like for him to sit there and say this. It's a lot of bullshit. Because if I was a minister, I'd be saying this is the biggest load of bullshit ever. And we're too busy worrying about people having white privilege than we are about trying to fix the house and the homelessness, guys. We're too busy running around. NGOs have to stuck into fucking the Karl Marx's indoctrination books than they do about fixing stuff, etc., etc. But and especially because the government are funded, you and I are paying for this kind of shit. And if they got away with it, they probably will soon do it in schools to stop this shit. In other countries maybe you can argue, but in Ireland, I don't know what privilege white Irish people have, because we have no privilege. To be totally honest, people are suffering when they pay their bills, etc., etc. Nobody has any privilege. We never colonized any country, etc., etc. We have no privilege really. In my eyes, everybody in the country, regardless of what country you are, in the Republic of Ireland is equal. Nobody's above anybody else. Nobody has any privilege above anybody else. The only people that do is NGOs and the establishment. They're the only people who have privilege, to be totally honest. Like this Queen. I know. Yeah, we're not even going to get into that now. I was going to mention about it. I'm not going to even get into that one. But I suppose that's our opinion. But yeah, we'll talk about this. Now, there's a good bit of cavan news. So imagine if you're alone on drive on cavan now. You have to wait a few more months to wait just for a driving test, to sit a driving test. There is actually somebody that I know, a friend of a friend, let's put it that way, that I know, is waiting 9 months for driving test. They have paid up front, etc., but they're waiting 9 months to sit a driving test. Now, in fairness, sooner or later, I think the fellow's going to do it. But it's the fact of the matter, during COVID, etc., people were trying to get driving, etc., and that was a huge backlog, because obviously they couldn't do driving tests. And they're still kind of behind, would you believe, in some regards. Because especially in Cavan, there's only one person or 2 people that do it. So there's very limited people. I think it says somewhere here. Yeah, like there's only 1 or 2 people that do it. As it says, 15 weeks delay. In some cases, and again, it's 9 months in one case. They might have had it in the meantime. But what I'm trying to say is, it is unacceptable. But again, I suppose you could say it's a small county. What would you really expect? But it is quite unacceptable. But I pity loaner drivers nowadays, because imagine having to buy a car, etc., and tax it, etc., especially a petrol car. The Green Party are gunning for you. Let's put it that way. Like it is a joke, this society. But it is a joke 4 months, let alone 9 months. You shouldn't really have to wait, especially if you're paying up front. But again, it goes back to the people to blame are the government. That's the people to blame. What is this? We're going around the island. So, Cavan County Council have a new chief executive. So this used to be the director of services. He was the director of services for years, Eno Duffy. For years, he's been the chief, not the chief executive, but the chief. Director of services, yeah, chief of staff, not the army now, the director of services. And as it says, he's been a long time in public service. Insane amount of time as well in public service too. Obviously, Tommy Wyans retired in October. As he says, literally director of service. He was director of service for a long time, and then all this stuff. So yeah, just wanted to let you know that. I'm being flashbanged. I don't really have much to say about it, but anyway, I suppose it is well deserved. He was a good director of services, etc., etc. He done well in organising the services that we did have. Let's put it that way. But yeah, so all the best in his career. I don't miss that. I wish him any well. Long story short. Now, I hate this fucking laggy shit. Excuse my language. So now you know about Taylor Swift. So this poor woman paid €240 for tickets to Taylor Swift, but they turned out to be fake. Now you probably have heard many stories about this. Now a lot of people like Taylor Swift. I don't know why, but but there's a huge amount of people who are conned by this. And it's pretty unfortunate, especially because they're young, young students, etc., majority of cases, and they're only on student pay. They don't have much money, basically. And €240, that's a lot of money for a student that's in college, etc., and it's not even to mention it's a very scummy thing to do to scam somebody. It isn't right to scam somebody, to take somebody's money and basically leading them on, basically. But it's unfortunate that these people do take advantage of things, and it's unfortunate that they turned out the way it did for these people in Cavan. But unfortunately, nothing really ever be done about it because there's no trace of the company, etc. It's a joke now that these things still happen in modern society. And the fact you have to ask, where was on Garda Síochána Conall? Like, where's the cyber crime unit that's supposed to be watching? You think they would have been looking to see was the fake websites up, set on Taylor Swift tickets that weren't legitimate. You think on Garda Síochána Conall would have been doing their job, basically, the cyber unit on Garda Síochána Conall. But nowhere to be found, again, as the Gardaí are usually are, they're nowhere to be found. But if you dare criticise somebody that's not from the country, there'll be 50 guards down at you in 5 minutes. But, if you dare question somebody's pronouns, the whole Garda Síochána Conall turn up. We'll go back on the screen for a second. Jesus, already 6:30. Time flies when you're having fun. But anyway, how are we doing anyway? So I know I was bullshitting on for a few minutes. Let me see. I'm fixing things too when I'm here. I'm going to sneeze. Now, there is one thing I'm going to go off at in a few minutes, just to say I'm just not going to shut up for about 5 hours when I start. So it's better to ask me ending now before I go off at this thing, because I'm literally about to blow up about it. Because I'm that annoyed about it. That way. So you have been warned. Let's put it that way. So it's a few minutes away now, but you have been warned that I will go on for 2 or 3 hours on it. Not so much, maybe 2 or 3 hours, but anyway, we're supposed to start again. I hate how laggy this is for some reason. Like, I don't know. Is it because I downloaded something? That's what's causing this. I don't know. Because it shouldn't be this laggy. But no. So news talk. The people that wanted we join the Commonwealth. We're not happy enough with the European Union. We wanted we join the Commonwealth. Them people, are literally all about sovereignty. And they're literally only after kind of waking up now, this so-called journalist, woke up and was like, actually, we actually give sovereignty away over our own border to the European Union. And I'm just like, for the last fucking year, I've been saying it along with other people that were been on saying that we shouldn't do this. This gives away our sovereignty. And now the media are just kind of like, now after it's passed, we actually give away our sovereignty. What a surprise. And this is from people that literally want you to rejoin the Commonwealth, the British Commonwealth. It's insane. And these are journalists. And a few weeks ago, if you said we were giving away our sovereignty, RT would have been like, this is far-right information. This is far-right extremists. There's no such thing. Fact check. No, Ireland's not giving away its sovereignty. It's basically handed to it on the plate. That's basically what they're saying. And basically now, it's only after waking up news talk. And actually, yeah, they actually had a point. Basically, that's what news talks after coming out with. When it's literally done and dusted. They only woke up now about it. Let's put it out. Which is great, isn't it? Now, the Taoiseach goes on to men to play a part, changing attitudes to women. Now, I will admit, there's a lot of women being abused by Irish people, etc., etc. No, it goes without saying. We all know that. But for a member of his party, that's the senator, that's in Fine Gael, to go and assault somebody in a pub, it's very ironic, basically. That's what I mean at the same time. They need to really solve this. People beating up their wives, etc., because they shouldn't be doing that. Obviously, people get into arguments in relationships. That's understandable. It can happen from time to time. Obviously, it doesn't. If it happens every night, that's just constant domestic abuse, basically. But obviously, we do need to address this is a problem in Irish society with this. And we do need to address, not even to mention people that just turn up off a boat. But we do need to kind of deal with this because, again, it is something that does affect a lot of Irish women. And it is a huge effect in Irish society too. People being abused by their husbands. Even in some cases, women abusing their husbands too. It has happened. I've heard of 2 or 3 cases in Ireland of that. The women were controlling their husbands. The husbands were too afraid to leave them, or the husbands were too afraid to speak out. It has happened. It happened. It might not happen as common as maybe a man beating up a woman or abusing a woman, but not even that. There is coercive control too. The people take the finances, take for example, and hold on to it. Basically, it's kind of a financial. Basically, they take your money in the week. They won't let you use it. They take it for themselves. There's things like that happen. It happens all the time in this country, unfortunately. And obviously, there does need to be a change in attitude, I suppose, in some kind of way to combat that. But what Simon House is basically suggesting here too, let's pass a hate speech bill. That's more or less the suggestion too. Whatever good that's going to do, but because again, the government can control what you do, and basically, so they can abuse you. So let the government abuse you. Not let people abuse you. Let the government abuse you. Basically. Basically, that seems to be the word on the street with the government. The only people shouldn't abuse you. We should abuse you. Now, I will go off of this now. So give me a second. So good news in Cavan. Everybody's delighted to hear this. That he's coming back, boys. He's coming back. Sean Quinn's coming back. He has secured investors to help him buy to bring back his hotel in Sleeve Ross and Ballyconnell, which is insane because he's coming back. They fucked him over before Anglo-Irish Bike, etc., etc. But he's coming back. The richest man in the country is coming back. He's back in the game, basically. Let's put it that way. So Sean Quinn's coming back, boys. Now, just to say, if anybody there has anything bad to say about Sean Quinn, don't go down to Ballyconnell because you will be killed. Because people in Ballyconnell really like him, and I have a lot of respect for Sean Quinn. He worked his way up from nothing. He owned nothing. He worked himself up the ground up. And it's just really, it's a testament to how hard he works, etc., etc. And not even that, in Ballyconnell, as you know, in that area, Cavan, going back in the 60s and the 70s, there was no work there for people, and he employed thousands of people in that area where there would have been no work. And he put Ballyconnell on the map. So, but it's great to see him kind of getting back into it, to be done, I'd say. And hopefully he does come back stronger. So we'll see what happens there, but I'll keep an eye. But it's good to see that he's coming back a bit. Interesting. We're just doing a bit of cooking now. But yeah, so I'm going to go off for a second. I hope you enjoyed the next few minutes of wanting. So this is near Lochhuta Castle. The castle, the Wan Castle on the island that has a good bit taken out of it from a cannon shot back years ago. Wan Point, which is called. That's the area around it. It's called Wan. And this is the central point, kind of near enough to the castle, basically. So it's like a public park, basically, we call it. Now, it's always been known as a bit of a shithole, unfortunately. Because this, and again, I have literally had to deal with this myself. I know, I've seen it. I've lived through it. And the Anglo-South is only kind of talking about this now. And for years, and this is the thing that really annoys me, for years there's been councillors saying, we're going to do this, we're going to put a public toilet there. It's all well and good putting a public toilet there, but who's going to look after it? Who's going to clean it? It needs to be cleaned out. Not even that. We had more councilmen there years ago. We had nearly 250 people employed to look after areas like this back in the day, back in the 70s when the country had no money. And nowadays we're in the 24th century and we can't employ enough councilmen to look after these areas. For whatever, God only knows what reason why, but we need to employ more people basically to look after these areas, people that are designated to be in these areas, to clean up these areas and to patrol it, etc., etc. Because again, this is the back end of nowhere, basically. But it's so popular during the summertime. So many people come there because it's really, really nice. It's a beautiful scenery. And it's one the most nicest areas in Cavan. And unfortunately, the one thing about it, and sad thing about it, and I keep saying it to every councillor, we're basically throwing it to the dogs. Like, we are literally just throwing it to the dogs. We're just fucking it aside and throwing it away. We're throwing away one of our beautiful, most part of Cavan around our Kuta Castle. We're throwing it into a dump, basically. We've thrown away a gift, and we have thrown it away into the lake, and we've basically left that gift for dead, basically. Which it is a disgrace that we have let it go this far, and it's still going on. I wouldn't mind, but for nearly 6 or 7 years, this has been the case, and nothing really has been done about it. To be told, we haven't employed more people to look after it. We haven't got maybe more people to police. On God, the Sheena Cobb no to be found, as they usually are. Not even that. There's no toilets. There's no facilities. No bins there. Even take for example, there's no bins literally even to put something into. But not even that. It's just a mess. It is generally just the biggest mess ever. And I often had to lift up human shit myself in the place as a council person. And not even like this is the carry on that's going on. Like, this isn't the carry on. Not even the worst part of it. It's been worse than this. Needles, you name it. Just it's a fucking mess. Where is the other pictures here? But yeah, this is just one of many. Why are you not? Why are you winning? I take, for example, people from Northern Ireland too, people from France, etc. So this carry on is too much. It's antisocial behaviours. People fucking playing loud music. There's people dumping stuff into lakes. It's insane. There's things actually been dumped into the lakes. As you see too, campfire is a huge thing too here. Well, there shouldn't really be campfires. There should be designated spots where you can light campfires, etc., etc. There's no designated spots for it, and people are just lighting campfires here, there, and everywhere. And there's no enforcement. That's the thing. And not even that. This area too is notorious for people to go and start breaking windows of cars, etc., etc., and breaking into cars, and still yet nothing has been done about it. As it says here, bylaws have come in Cavan to try and police this. At the end of the day, you may say by bylaws, put up this cam, put up this sign, put up this, put that, up all that. But at the end of the day, what really matters, and I keep saying, I'm blue in the face and saying it, what we need to do in Cavan, and I keep saying to all the councils because they seem to just not understand this, that at the end of the day, what they do in Helsinki, as I say, they have common sets. They employ men, they employ women too in Helsinki too, to go out and look after these areas, to clean up these areas, to take pride in their county, to take pride in their city and unique areas in the Pacific historical areas. But what we're doing in Cavan is asking people literally to go out and do it for nothing, basically. And literally, people literally go out and volunteer to do it, which is not good enough. Because at the end of the day, we should have men employed that can deal with this. We should have little enforcement officers just for this area alone. The only job they have to do Monday to Friday or even the weekends is just to go around and police it during the summer, even during the winter, just to walk around and police it, basically, so they can go around and do things. And again, it adds into this too. There should be public toilets. But at the end of the day, what we do in Cavan, and the same with the ones that used to have the town, and knock them down and have one toilet. They just leave them there. They're not maintained properly. Like, even though the ones in Cavan are well looked after now, because there's only one now. There's two in the town, yeah. There's two. But what I'm trying to say is they're not properly looked after. For literally being in the city that looked after, literally every fucking road nearly had a public toilet in Helsinki. And they were all well looked after, etc., etc. And not even that, some places you paid €1 to go in. But you were well willing to do that because they were good condition, etc., etc. But even if we done that in Cavan, just to upkeep the toilets, you could really make the money back on cleaning up and paying a man if they were well used, etc., etc. Like, it makes no sense in this county why we haven't took the necessary steps. And especially, as I say, so many people come to Cavan just to see Lochhuta Castle on the island, etc., etc., because it's such a beautiful area. And we basically have just tourists coming, etc., etc., are coming looking at our county, and the impression they'll take is people are dumping stuff, people are shitting on the ground, people are shitting into bags, people are throwing things into the lake in one of the most beautiful parts of Cavan. We're just basically throwing that all out and said we're going to accept it. It's not acceptable. It is simply not acceptable for councils to sit there and say, no, things have been done, this has been done, other things been done, when in fact nothing has really been achieved. And the same really throughout Cavan, we're being bet by Monaghan in terms of tidiness, etc., etc. And it's not acceptable. We should employ more people. We should employ people. We should employ them with a good wage, etc., etc. Because that's what we need to do. We can talk about doing this and this instead of this, that, the other, canvas this, that, or the other. But at the end of the day, what you need to realize, you need people. You need men on the ground. You need even women if women want to do it. You need bodies. You need people on the ground that can do these things, that can walk out, clean up these areas. Like, as I say, this is a disgrace. And it's not. And I often came across them myself. Bags have came across on the ground, etc., etc. And people would have to walk through it to get across because some parts of it narrow, etc., etc. And it's atrocious. People going for a day out with their children, etc., etc. It is not acceptable. It's generally not acceptable and should not be tolerated in this county. And it's been tolerated for far too long, to be totally honest. And it's just not tolerable. Um, so, and to be totally honest, all these councils in this area should really start upping their game, to be totally honest. Because if I was in the council now, I'd be literally on blast about it. I'd generally be on blast about it. Because again, I dealt with this before a few times myself. I was sent out there to do it. I will admit that I was sent out there, and I've seen it myself. And Nick could write a PhD on it. But what I'm trying to say is, as it says, which is adjoining the most historical attraction in Cavan. Like this is insane. Like, I wouldn't mind if this was some back end lake in the middle of nowhere in Cavan, where it takes literally a year to get to. But this is literally at the most historical place in Cavan, and one of the places where all the tourists come. There's even sometimes buses that literally bring people out to look at Loch Huta and Kilnakeen around the area. And we basically have just said we don't care and just allowing it to continue. The Gardaí but now going out and patrolling it. But in reality, and again, a lot of people out there would agree with me. I've known a few people out there. The Gardaí are nowhere to be found. They're nowhere to be found in anywhere. Not even that. At the end of the day, people shitting on the ground, etc., etc. At the end of the day, the problem is not all the Sheena Connor, because again, if people need to go toilet, they need to go toilet. There's nowhere there for them to go, and there should really be somewhere there to go in a public facility, etc., etc. Like literally in Finland, in the back end of nowhere in Finland, they literally have toilets, public toilets, in the back end of fucking forests, in the middle of nowhere in Finland. They can do it. They can clean them and look after them. It doesn't make any sense, and why we can't do it in a country that supposedly has more money than Finland. It's insane. And the fact of the matter is, again, if you would want to pay, like even if they put a toilet out of Loch Huta there, this area, one point, they put 2 or 3 toilets there, right, and they properly maintain it, but you have to pay €1 to go in. I'm sure people would be happy enough to pay it if they were well looked after, and that's what they do in Finland, and that's how they look after them. You pay €1 to go into the toilet, right? Which, people say that's ridiculous. But the money goes to upkeep the toilet, look after it, etc. To make it, because again, nobody wants to go into a toilet that doesn't fucking flush, that's full up to the top with toilet paper. Because that's what would happen. Because what they're proposing at the moment, the process is still ongoing. It's been going for 7 or 8 years. It's been going on since like 10 centuries ago. But what I'm trying to say, the solution, I bet you any money will, the solution, we put a toilet there, right? But we're not going to look after it. That's going to be the solution. We're not going to look after. We're just going to put a toilet there and hope for the best. Hopefully somebody will volunteer to clean it up, etc., etc. And that's what will probably happen, unfortunately. That's the specifics. Because there's many places in Cavan. It's not just one place. There's many places too I could go on about. But it's not good enough. And it goes back to this. And this is the thing I've been saying. I've said it to 2 or 3 councillors. It goes back to we're basically not taking enough pride in our county and looking after our county for people to come to our county, etc., etc. Because it reflects badly on us and the people of Cavan that we allow this carry on to happen. As I say, in one of the most important sites, not even to mention the other sites in Cavan that we should be looking after. Because again, people pay their taxes for a reason. These are public facilities for a reason. They're public areas for a reason. We can't just fuck them there. It's not like Finland. You could trust people to look after the area, etc. That doesn't happen. That's out the door in this country. Unless you have enforcement, unless you have the means to police it, there's not a hope of it. At this stage, I would nearly say if they're not going to do anything with it, they should nearly just close it down. Because that'd be the better off. Because I can't tell you how many tourists that's probably going there and reporting back to whereabouts they come. A few times I came across Americans out there. They're probably going and saying in America, there's a whole shithole in Cavan there that's not been looked after, etc., etc. And that's sad. It's hard to see, and I hate having to say it, but that's what's probably been saying to people. And then people probably come down from maybe Dublin, etc., etc., and they see the mess, and they're like, "What are we doing in Cavan?" Basically, and that's the thing we need to ask them. This is the thing the councils need to ask: what are we doing? That's the question. What are we doing in Cavan? Where's our pride in our county? That's the simple thing. Where is it? Where is it? Because in Monaghan, they're actually beating us, the second cleanest town in Ireland. And Cavan has gone down to the 24th cleanest town in Ireland. And it's not acceptable, especially because we're actually a smaller town than Monaghan. We should be able to look after it. And it goes back to this, that there literally was 20 men years ago, just in the town alone. And nowadays, there's only 2 men. And when them 2 men go, there's nobody to replace them. It's just not acceptable. Um, you know, hello, Gordon. You probably give me the worst time. I don't know specifically Tony what you're on about, but it might be up that area, Calvin, some other area. But what I'm saying, it's not acceptable. It's just not acceptable. And I do encourage all the councillors. What we need to do, and I've said it for years, we need to employ more men. And the long term it will pay out. I know it's a lot in wages, etc., etc. It's a lot. I will admit that there's a lot in wages, etc., etc. For it is a lot in wages, if that makes any sense, to pay people, etc., etc. That's understandable. But in the long term, it will work because people will be happy. People will want to come. Like seeing this online, say you were a tourist. I don't know. Say you're a tourist coming from, I don't know. Let's say a lot of French people and German people go out there. They go out to fish. And the problem is, too, there's a lot of fishermen that are there. Because I've seen it myself. And this is the thing, is to do with the river enforcement, too. That people shouldn't be coming in. There's French people coming in to cavan lakes, etc., and German people coming in. And they're taking all the fish. They're not putting them back in the lake when they catch them. But you probably should. You should only take one fish with you and throw the rest back, basically. What they're doing is literally going out with literally fucking nearly trailers of them. What I'm trying to say, boxes of them. Catch all the fish and they take them with them. And it's not acceptable. I've seen fish being buttered, etc., on the side of the road, etc. It's not acceptable. Yeah, we don't want to know. You don't want to know. But long story short, not the nicest thing. But this is the carry on that's happening. And as I said, there was oftentimes cows burned out here too. And by right too, you shouldn't really be capping here by right. But technically, there's nothing really you can do about them capping there, to be told. But it's back to the matter is in such a nice spot too, and you can tell that I'm very, very passionate about it. But it is not acceptable, and it is not acceptable. I said this all to everybody here. It is not acceptable we're letting this go down this way. It's a lack of pride, and that's what it's a lack of pride from the people who represent us in the council levels. The lack of pride from the TDs too in this area that we're letting this county go to the dogs, and that's literally what is happening here across the whole county. You can name out many other areas. We should be taking the huge. We can't be everywhere. I understand that, but we should be taking a bit more pride, a bit more initiative, a bit more. Let's do it. Let's not have a discussion about it for 9 years. Let's just do the thing and get it done. And the only way you do that is if you have enforcement and you have people to clean up. And that's the thing. You can't be just relying on a few people to do a few areas, etc., etc. As I say, years ago, there probably would have been 200 members of the council going around doing these things. Nowadays, there's only about maybe 30, 40 in the whole county do that. And then when they retire, they're not replaced. That's the problem too. Like, it's a huge problem in this county. And in the long term, as they say about Helsinki too, it was loads of work. There was even young women walking on the council, etc., walking on the streets, etc. But the initiative pays off, and it does pay off because there are people cleaning the streets, looking after the streets. And I could come here and say to people that the streets are very clean in Helsinki. It was very nice. All the parks were clean, etc. I didn't walk into any dog shit. I don't know if I was a tourist coming from Finland to Cavan, would I be able to say that? And it's a good thing to have to go and say that it's really, really clean. It's really, really nice. And the toilets and the public toilets were clean. It's a great thing to have to say that. Because not many cities can say that. If you went to London, if you went to Paris, not many countries you can say that it's good conditions, well looked after. You couldn't say that in Dublin. You generally couldn't. Even if you tried, you couldn't generally get it out of your mouth because you would be telling a lie if you would. But that should be the same here in Cavan. Obviously, it's more hard to do a capital city, but what I'm trying to say is it's a simple thing when you employ the people to do it. If you get a good few people and you employ them, in the long term, it will pay off, basically. And it will encourage more people to come. Nobody wants to go to a place that's just full up with human shit on the ground. And God only knows what else. Nobody wants to go to them places. If you clean it and make it perfect for people to come to, nice public toilets that are clean and well looked after, then people will come. People will say, yeah, I want to go there. Actually, it's really nice. Yeah. But Gordon Brown, But what I'm just saying, if they can do it in Finland, we should be able to do it in Cavan. We should be able to do it in Ireland as a first world country. That's what I'm trying to say. And supposedly, because we're supposed to have more money in this country than in Finland. But wherever that money goes to, fuck knows? 'Cause I don't know. You totally understand. But what I'm proposing, just to say on the end of the point here, if it's not well done, if we can't do something with it soon, next year we should just close it off altogether and not let anybody go into it. Simple as that. Because that's what I'm proposing nearly at this stage. If we're not willing to look after it and give a good facility for the public use, for people on a good day to go fishing or even to have a look around like Hookerdale, to save the county the embarrassment of having it, we should just close it off, lock it all up, close it down if we're not willing to do it. And it's a sad thing because it was really, really lovely. When I was growing up, it was nice. It was looked after, not good enough. I remember often go down there. But nowadays, be totally honest, I'd be ashamed to nearly go down and show you in a video, to be totally honest. Because I was there many times last year, during the summer, etc., doing things there, cleaning up. And I'd be genuinely ashamed if I went down now to show you. I genuinely would be ashamed to put it up on social media to show you the state of the county. And that should tell all the councils what they need to know. They'd be genuinely ashamed to show you around one of the most famous sites in Cavan. I genuinely would feel a huge shame in going and doing it. Because they wouldn't know, it's not even me recording it, it's just showing you what is happening. It's not good enough. Yeah, but it's not even that. There's people literally shitting on the ground. And dumping rubbish into lakes, taking all the fish with them too. Not even to mention cows being broken into. Not even to mention cows being set on fire at some stages. Not to mention all that. And especially at such a historical site too. It's just not acceptable. Are we happy that my rant is over? For the moment. But yeah. Again, apologies if I probably took it up a notch, but you can see that I'm very passionate about it. Because I want people to come to Cavan. I want tourists to come to Cavan and see the true Cavan, the rural parts of Cavan, etc., etc. Shouldn't be just, it's a mess everywhere. Because it's a beautiful. We are truly blessed, and this is the thing. We had such a beautiful county. We still do have a beautiful county, but we have thrown that blessing away. We're basically just throwing it out the window, and that's just the sad reality. Given that blessing, we had a blessing, but we basically just threw the blessing out the window, and just willing to not use what we have basically as a beautiful, beautiful county that many countries can't say that it's such natural beauty, etc., etc. I don't know. People probably just don't care. Give me a second though. Sorry, give me a second. I'm just looking for something. It's nearly 7 o'clock. Quite fair enough. What am I looking for? Sorry, there's 105 things here. No. Where the fuck was this? Yeah, you can reward. Yeah, it's a free country. I know. I would only be delighted to know that yours, not yours truly, but our good friend Santa has met this I don't even know what would you call it. You probably know what I think of, but I can't think of the words to describe it. Basically, I could say something, but I probably shouldn't. No, I won't say. But long story short, Hillary Clinton, uh, this queen, that's my line. The gowl. Do you remember people in Limerick call people gowls? You know that, so let's just call it a gowl. But no American person will understand what a gowl is, but a gowl. Good evening, Sean. I hope you came in the right time. We were just going to we were giving a fuck there a few minutes ago for about 6 hours. Yeah, we're not going to talk about what you've probably just seen the clip of it there. So you've probably just seen an inch of it there. So we're not going to mention about it again. About Sultan Hillary Clinton. Also, just mentioned about Finland actually. As I say about trust in society, I don't know if you've seen my video yesterday, but yeah. So this fellow left his bag, his passport, everything on the train, and 40 minutes later he had it back, and loads of money in it too. And literally his money was back in 30. He had everything back in 30 minutes. If that was in Dublin, it'd be long gone. Basically, that's about that way. Just to put it straight. Jesus, getting dark now. It's a pretty day. It was raining there a second ago, so don't let it ever. Yeah. Sorry. Everyone only better not than here a few minutes ago. You might have seen a better song than Hillary Clinton. It's going to lash. It's going to lash rain. Yeah, you're probably very hot at the moment. They were, yeah, because America's going through a heat wave somewhere. Jamaica bobsled team. Jamaica and the Caribbean are having a good time. The Dominican Republic. They're going through hell at the moment. It's an awful bad storm there. Hopefully it doesn't do too much. It seems that it's done a lot of damage now. Unfortunately. What is this? Sorry. Yeah, no bother, Gordon. Thank you for being here. Now, well, it's something else actually. Just give me a second to take them. So it might be Dalton. The Colombian embassy. You're going into Colombia. You're going to see Hunter Biden. I always knew you were up to no good. You're going to Colombia. I don't know. Actually, now probably many people go to Colombia now. I wouldn't really go to any of them like down South America. Nothing that really interests me. No, so just seeing this on Twitter. No more American tax dollars for New Ukraine. But again, military artillery Queen. As soon as she says this, she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, not every country, money for Israel, no other country but Israel. We need money for Israel. Israel needs money, of course. We need money for Israel." Yeah. Like, as soon as she says that, that's what she comes out with. Yeah, Nikki. Yeah. Oh, well, Ben Shapiro is just a joke now. It wouldn't really pass much about. Unless it's a college student, he can't debate anybody else. Like, do you remember you said you would debate Candace Owens? That never happened, And Ben Shapiro was just too afraid to be debate anybody. He wouldn't debate someone like me either, because I'd drive him mad. But I suppose he is, but he does what he does. It's getting very dark. See, it's everyone was fight. It's starting to rain. Oh, give it. Supposed to be getting actually too. I've been seeing about it because during COVID, not before COVID, these walls are supposed to be painted white. Not white, but it was supposed to be painted. Hopefully, fingers crossed. The fellow I was going to get doing it, when the lockdowns lifted, etc., said he was overwhelmed with the amount of people wanting things done because during the lockdown nobody could do anything basically. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the whole wall and everything behind it will be painted during the winter time at some stage. Hopefully. It's just pissing downpour. So hopefully, fingers crossed that does happen, because you can see the bits of. Because there used to be a map up here. I'm sure people will remember, but if you look back in the old videos, there used to be a map. It used to always fall down, so it was just so much. What do you call it? The stuff, thumbtacks, I suppose we call it. That literally made a mess, unfortunately, of the wall. Like down here in particular, you can see it oftentimes there. It's all a nuisance for me. So hopefully, it'll be done soon enough. Because I want to get that sorted. We're thinking about it, yeah. That's what has been talked about. Specifically for this wall, maybe not for the whole wall, but the whole walls will be painted, but maybe just for specifically here, by something like that. We see how we go on it, but the worst thing about it is everything have to be moved, etc., etc. It's going to be a while, but definitely by before Christmas, hopefully, all going well, because yeah, it's when your man gets time. That's it. So hopefully, someday before Christmas, hopefully you see a nice new wall behind. Not a new wall, but a nice painted wall. So yeah, time to be spotted. So this segment is the spots by the Social Democratic Fund. Meanwhile, so this is the lead of the True Finns. I don't know what was wrong with it. I don't know what's wrong with it in general. Going around with this this yoke, but whatever sense she has in that, but very peculiar, isn't it? I was thinking she looked familiar, but it's time to cut. So I'm just showing these memes. Yeah, so like this was all before, this is all now. This segment has been sponsored by the Social Democratic of Finland. So yeah. I just thought I'd show you that just because I find them funny. It's time to cut. Also, you want to know something funny about my trip to Finland too? I'm only after realizing now. I only talked about the other day, yesterday or the day before. Do you want to know something funny? If I can find the fucking thing. Because I literally kicked myself when I remembered it. Because I wouldn't mind if I was told about it. And my fucking head, because there was that much going on that day, I couldn't remember everything. I should have probably written it down, but basically, long story short, I didn't remember. That's fucking Wayne. Wait. Nobody wants to know, but the thing I noticed. Jesus, that's nice. That's nice. Where the fuck am I? Excuse me. What's this now? There. So we're just trying to get this up. Do tell, Jesus, about time somebody takes interest. Give me 2 minutes. I have to just find the fucking thing. But long story short, I was told this in Parliament to go to here because it was just down the street from Parliament. I don't know how I fucking in my head because there was that much. Like to be totally honest, there was that much going on every day. Basically, I just completely forgot about it because I wouldn't mind, but I was literally right beside it too at one stage. But I never thought of it because there was just that much going on that time. My fucking head. I completely forgot about it. But I only thought about it now. I actually sat down the other day and was thinking about the trip overall, etc., etc. But everything I've seen, etc., etc. And then I just remember this. I remember them saying this in Parliament, one of the tour guides. Because I was saying about Santa Mountain. And she said something. I'll show you now. Make sense in a second. But long story short, I didn't remember what she said until I came home. Literally the other day, I only remembered it. There's no fuck good. Everyone could find 50 billion things showing it. Peg Gillette. I think too. Oop the shit. Pig Gillette, will you just fucking give me the thing scam? Oh no. Well, in the name of God and all that's holy. I wouldn't mind if I didn't want to find it. It'd be literally fecking everywhere. To be totally honest with you. So give me a second. I'm literally losing the plot. So it's always good when you literally lose the plot. Mein Gott, schon open. Oh my young man, good dim. Sorry, I'm literally losing it. This thing is not working with me. You literally never know what I could come up with. What is this? How so? If I can't find it out in the next few minutes, I'm going to blow up. So I only remember this now, so I finally have the fucking thing. Sorry about So I finally have it now. I don't know if you can see it, can you? Yeah. So this is in an art museum in Finland, just beside Parliament. Now, me being a fucking stupid bollocks, never thought about this, to be totally honest. Didn't think about it. But long story short, this is just behind Parliament. And I wouldn't mind, but he was like, yeah, if you like Santa Mountain, you should see this. That sounded very weird. If you whatever, right? And now even going to also the other thing I was going to try and edit that out. But long story short, this is just behind Parliament. Parliament is there, just here, this road here, and this is just behind it. And I wouldn't mind, but she told me about it, and I don't know what happened. But why did I forget about it? Or what was it? I was too busy at the time because the European elections, basically. Long story short, the European elections was just the day after the European elections, and there was huge talk, and I was fucking had my head blown off listening to it. Long story short, then there was other stuff I was looking at Mannerheim courses and other stuff from the Winter War, the Parliament wall, the different statues, etc., etc. Too much, basically. And I must have just been fucking stupid in the head. I forgot about this place that they said about Santa Mountain. Like this is I don't know what you would call it. What would you call this kind of thing? What's it made out of? I suppose. Um, it is a statue, but I don't know what it's made out of. But just never thought about it. But long story short, if we ever do go back, we go back to this basically. Because I'm such stupid in the head that I didn't think of it. I wouldn't mind, but somebody should have told me about it. I know somebody did tell me about it, but they should have told me again. Because especially because whatever, coping. Nobody cared, honestly. But no, like these yokes, that's what it was. Like, they are quite well done too, just to say. But again, into this place here, just to say, it's threat the Euro to get in to North Galway. What's interesting. But wait and see, when I go now, it won't be there. When I go back, if I ever do go back, it won't be there. Wait and see. What do we think of that? Yeah. Yeah, but I don't even know what's made. What would it have been made of? Do you know what? Like, what? I know it's a statue kind of thing, but it's made out of something. But long story short, I should have probably, if I had a brain, I would have remembered it. It would have been funny just to go there, because generally we probably would have just live streamed it, like, yeah, here. But I wouldn't mind. But they did tell me, like, literally in Parliament, like literally it was right beside it. I wouldn't mind if it was 100 miles away, but I never thought of it. That's just the thing. And it never came back to me, basically. And it only hit me yesterday, would you believe? Yesterday. I mean, really back a month and only thought about it yesterday. I was actually sitting down thinking about it. I was like, yeah, what was your woman saying? And then I looked into it. I was like, yeah, I'm bollocks. Piggy. Oh, so I'm claiming ownership of we're not claiming, but I'm claiming the idea of this. The Mona Lisa, the Santa Lisa. Sorry, there's actually a thing. Like, we must give this fellow an idea, but the unfortunate thing about it is, unfortunately, it's not going to be displayed for much longer. Unfortunately, this is literally on the other side of fucking, literally in fucking Timbuktu. Yeah, so most likely, unfortunately, we're never going to see this, unfortunately. It's an oil painting too. So unfortunately, we're probably never going to see this, unfortunately, because it is not in Helsinki. It might be in Helsinki maybe sometime. But literally, in fucking another century, basically, in literally 100 million miles away, basically, the other side of Finland. But yeah, so I'm claiming this idea. So, yeah. But just to say, there's actually a thing. Like, this is actually a real thing. Yeah. So. I think this museum is a bit biased. It's not museum, but it's an art gallery. Like, look what it says. It's like powerful. That's what it's saying. Powerful. I think yeah. Everybody be on the shopping list. Oh my god. Having a fit. Yeah. So any other fun happening with anybody? I'll take my hat. Any other fun in the hood? Piggly. So I think that's really it for tonight. There's nothing really else. But like, we went on for a long time about that thing in Cavan, man point. Let me see, what's this? Ooh, what's this? Give me a second. Why am I on that? I know I can look at it later. So. But yeah, any other things anybody to say? Oh, what do you call it? Yeah, actually, sorry, I'm only have to think about something. What do you call Woshi and Shortall and Cat, the Social Democrats, the two women that co-founded the Social Democrats? They're retiring. They're not seeking re-election to the Dáil in the next election, which everybody has to sci-fi lane out. But they're not seeking re-election to Dáil in the next election. So they're jumping ship too. They're one away. What was this? Sorry, give me a second. There was something else I meant to mention. Money after TV license. What has happened with the TV license? Because I know they were doing some big fucking charade today. Yeah, so there's news on the TV license actually. I knew I heard something about it. Because it's good news. So it might be good. But this is the thing. Listen to this. You might be like, oh, she's going to fall to bits now. You're wrong. Guess what? The government are going to give them the money directly. So basically, in our taxes, they're going to give OT the money. Basically, OT is still going to be funded and give them more money than they did before. Let's put it that way. So long story short, they didn't recommend it. We should just abolish OT and bomb it into existence. Well, not bomb it into existence, but send it back to this next century. So OT... so they're recommending scrapping the TV license because nobody's paying it. Let's be fair, nobody's paying it. So it's literally just they're getting sick of it, basically. So long story short, what they're going to do is Commission the Mountain is going to take over, giving money to OT every year from the government. So the government are going to give them millions a year. So, OT just cannot die, basically. But because again, nobody's going to pay it. Because the recommendation before, at the moment, they're saying about scrapping it. But the recommendation before was that if you had a computer, because a lot of people say they don't have tellies and they don't have to pay technically. But now we're going to bring in this other thing they wanted to bring. If you had a computer, things like you'd be paying for your computer, etc., etc. If you were connected to the internet, etc., they'd be making you pay. So I presume they're just going to abolish it because there's just nobody wants to deal with it. So that's probably the best option for them. But we see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But hopefully the fuck OT just go bankrupt and it won't be found again. That's what I would be hoping for. I'm sure we would all agree on that. But anyway, lads and lassies, I think we'll leave it there for tonight. It was a good stream. I had a lot to talk about. Yeah, that's not now. So comes to mind now. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there. So yeah, thank you for watching. We'll be back Saturday. Saturday, yeah, and hopefully we'll have Monday or Sunday this week or Monday next week, part 3 of the house safety thing. Hopefully, we see how we get on. Yeah, maybe maybe there's a video or two maybe go up, but I think that'll be it. There's nothing really major happening at the moment, so we see what happens. But anyway, so we'll definitely be live Saturday anyway. So I talk to you then, basically. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of the evening. I know it's not much of an evening out there, but yeah, talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your night and good night.